Hi everybody, welcome back to the podcast about the boy at the back of the class. This will be the last one because at the end of this we're going to be doing a short review of the book. And me and Dante are going to be talking about our best bits about the book. But at the end of this book, talks a little bit of detail about refugees, which I think is massively important as Ahmet, one of the main characters in the book, is a refugee. So I think it's really important that we talk about it. So Onjali, who has written this book, has put money that she makes from the book with every single sale of the book go to refugee charities, which I think is an amazing thing. What do you think, Dante, about this? Do you think more authors should do similar things to this?
Yeah, I think they should do pretty much the same thing to help refugees because they're all pretty famous making books and all that when there's refugees running away from being killed. So I think they should put some money towards refugees that they earn. Not even all of it, just some of it, and help refugees so they can live a happy life.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's an amazing thing that she's doing, putting her own money back into something that she's wrote about and she's passionate about. So yeah, that was the first thing I want to let you know that she's doing. And there's some facts that she gives you. So at the time of writing this book, there are currently over 65 million refugees trying to flee wars or persecution in their country. I think that's a massive amount of number, and it's more people than that fled from the Nazis in World War II. So it's just a massive number, and I think that number needs to be thought about because I think in England, I think the whole population is around 65 million. So it was like everybody in England trying to flee to go somewhere else. It's a massive number. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, Dante. I think it's a big number.
I've not got any thoughts, but I have got something to say that about refugees. In England or Europe, England, we only taken 1% of refugees, which isn't enough.
Yeah, so you've beaten me to that point, Dante. We're about to come to it, but we will come back to it because I've got some of my opinions about that as well. But really good point. I'm glad you know that as well. Another thing that is at the back of the book is the difference between the word refugee and the word immigrant. A lot of the time on the news, you might hear the word immigrant or refugee, and making sure you one, it's not getting mixed up. And sometimes I think the news uses it in the wrong way as well. So an immigrant or migrant is someone who has deliberately moved to a new country or another part of their country because it is what they want to do. It was their choice. Where a refugee is not an immigrant or migrant because they have been forced to leave their homes or their countries suddenly because they've risked the chance of dying if they do not. So I think that's massively important when you're talking about, when you're listening to the news, people are talking about it, that you don't get that mixed up. A refugee doesn't have a choice. They're literally fleeing for their lives, where an immigrant is moving because they want to do it. But we'll come to your point now, Dante. So yeah, the UK takes less than 1% of the world's refugees. You were saying like it's not good enough, is it really? We should be doing more, seeing as we're one of the richest countries in the world. We should be doing more. Do you think so?
Yeah, we're not doing it enough. Like as you said, we're one of the richest countries. So the refugees are poor, cold, and have hardly anything to eat. But we're just having a good time. Not at the moment, but usually.
Yeah. Even though we think that this is a struggle at the moment, being stuck inside, a refugee would love be able to have a house that they're warm, they've got shelter, they've got food. Stuff that we take for granted is not easy for them.
And also that they got a toilet.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. We should say just things that I didn't even think of there. Um, and also, to add to that, 4 out of 5 of the world's refugees are taken to countries or received by countries that are not in Europe. And Europe is seen as one of like the richest areas in the world. And we're not taking in a lot of refugees. So I think that's another thing. It's not just the UK, but it's other European countries as well. I think that needs to massively change. So we've talked about that. So some stats there for people and our opinions on there. We're going to just have a bit of a short review of the book and talk about our best bits. So, Dante, do you have any bits that are your favourite in the book, and why are they your favourite bits?
I think I've got about 1 or 2 favourite bits. The first bit is I'm sad and glad at the same time when nobody mentions her birthday.
Yeah.
But she's glad because she's not bringing in a cake or anything. But when she gets into class, and after about 10 minutes in class, her mum brings in a massive cake and some party bags, and everyone's singing happy birthday. And she said it's a great birthday, not because it was her birthday and all, but because Armit's parents have been found. So she was just over the moon about that she's gone to the Queen, and the Queen's tried to do something and they've been found, all thanks to her.
Yeah, that is a good bit. What was your second bit?
When she says, "What's a Coldstream Guard?" and she was thinking that all of them diving into cold streams with their hats on.
Oh, okay. That she took the words literally that they jumped into cold streams. Yeah, it's a funny bit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 3 bits here. One, I like how happy and positive people are in the aftermath of the greatest idea in the world. So when people are like knocking on the door, some of the newspaper reports, teachers at school are saying being really positive and happy that they've gone and done what they've done and what impact they've made. I think that's really like that was really nice to hear. I also like that Armat when he um, proved people wrong because I think people underestimated him because he hadn't he's not from the same country as some of them. So when he goes to play football, people are like, oh, does he is he even going to know how to play? And then he's the best player. And when he's
True.
growing the plant in school, like his plant is doing better than all the rest. And then also how he deals with being bullied by Brendan the bully in the book, how he sort of just shrugs it off, being like, there's bigger bullies out there that I've had to face, where everybody's actually scared in his class of Brendan the bully, where he's not scared of him. And then my last one is I liked the fact that the people who had done horrible things or were quite nasty in school to Ahmet, like Mr. Irons and Brendan the bully, obviously things came into place. Mr. Irons left the school and Brendan the bully stopped because he was getting into so much trouble about bullying Ahmet that I like that they got what was coming to him for being nasty.
I don't actually think Mr. Irons quit. I think that he got fired from when Mrs. Sanders said, "Stay here, I'll speak to you later," came back and fired him just because he didn't like Armit. That's what I thought happened, but he could have quit.
Yeah, no, I think he was either forced to quit or he was sacked. But either way, I thought he didn't deserve to be in the position that he was in, being sort of nasty to
And
Ahmet.
and everyone was glad that he gone because they were screaming and laughing as much as they liked.
Yeah, in the playground, wasn't it? So me as a 28-year-old, I would definitely recommend this book. I think there's loads of points that I think everybody should be reading.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm 28. But also, Dante, you've read the book. You're
And I'm
8,
8, so
9 next week.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've listened to the book in my life about 100 times, to be honest, and I would definitely recommend it. And if you're not a fan of the book, there's always the second part of the book from when they actually do get to meet the Queen. It's called The Day We Met the Queen.
Yeah, so the book finishes before they meet her, and there's a second smaller book that's come out, which I'm about to read because I'm really interested in how the story carries on. We might be doing a podcast on that, so look out for that. And I hope you have enjoyed these daily discussions that me and Dante have had about the boy at the back of the class. But for the final time at the moment, I'm going to say it's bye from Josh.
And it's bye from Dante.
See ya.
Bye.